Yeah, I just wanted to start with, in this new era of college sports, revenue sharing, um, the scholarship, the roster's going to 34. It's been a tough time in the recruiting world. Obviously, trying to figure out what our number is on the class, and do we save room for portal? Do we save room for junior college? And I think Trip Couch, I just want to thank him. Our recruiting coordinator, Trip, has done such a wonderful job of putting an unbelievable class together, number one, and figuring out, there's two contracts now. It used to be one letter of intent. Now it's two contracts, and getting everything ready and done, and everybody signing. And obviously we'll be able to talk about them all today. But I wanted to thank Trip and the staff for what a wonderful job of putting this thing together.
So the way this would work now, you already know you have to be 6 less than you have now.
Correct.
A year from now.
Correct.
So do you think that your class would have been bigger had you not, if this wasn't going through, that you probably would have signed more guys now, or just left those available for later?
Probably would have been a bit bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to let some guys that we had committed, in the past 2 or 3 years before the rules changed. We told them they probably need to look elsewhere just because of 34 was going to be too tough.
Where do things stand as far as firming up that number, and then also when in the season you have to be at that number? Right.
Well, we have not been told that yet, and I think a lot of people across the country are, and I think we're way ahead of the game because of our administration. Desiree. And everybody involved over on campus has done an unbelievable job of getting this thing going. I think we talked to schools and coaches across the country, and they have no idea what their money number is going to be, what their rev share number is going to be, and we have all that stuff. So we were able to do, I think, a better job than most people across the country. That number of 34, there's been 3 dates that's kind of been floated. It's going to be when we enter school next year in the August. Somewhere in October, or when the season opens in February. So I think the Big 12, I think we're leaning one way. I can't really say right now, but and we feel like we recruit and we evaluate talent as good as anybody in the country. So we're good with that, whatever number they want to give us.
Is it a conference decision?
I think that it's sort of the conference is sort of leading the way in these things. I think that all the conferences are.
Do you have a number of how many scholarships you'll be able to be giving out for next year?
I do. Okay. I'm not going to say publicly, but we have a number. It's basically a money number. Mm-hmm. That if you total it out, there is a number, and it's been a real generous number by campus.
So it is an increase then?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Of the 11.7, I think is what it was? Okay.
Yes.
What's it been like then, just navigating these new waters?
Yeah, like I said, that's why Coach Couch has been phenomenal. He's been doing this for years and years. And he's sort of evaluated and put the numbers, and really we've been able to make, I think, really, really good offer. We made great offers to all these kids, and we're able to secure them.
When I look down the signee class, I see 7 from either Pima or
Right.
Arizona in general. How important is that, to be looking in your backyard at Pima and then just having like a strong class from Arizona?
Yeah, we've always, from the time we came here, we felt like we had to do the best we could in the state of Arizona, number one. Obviously, if there's someone in Tucson, of course, we're going to get after them. And Pima just plays at such a high level. When you watch junior college baseball now, Pima, the Arizona JCs in general are really, really good. So we're happy to always be able to go over there and get guys. And obviously, those guys were wanted by a lot of big programs across the country. So we're excited.
What are the kids actually signing these days as opposed to the traditional NIL?
Yeah, they're signing a rev share contract of what their number is going to be, and then they're all signing that, and then they're also signing what their academic aid is going to be.
Is the rev share agreement the same for every player?
No.
It's not.
No, and they know that, and that's just and that's the thing. We've always said from day one with NIL is if we could get the players to be able to go to school and not pay any money to go to school here, we'd be happy. So that's kind of how we try to spread it out.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at the players in here, I see you've got players from 2 high schools of guys that you just recently coached. You have someone from Nick McClary's school,
Yes.
someone from Chase Davis's school. Is there like familiarity with those coaches, or is that just happenstance that happened?
I think it was more happenstance. They are, the way things go now. We always try to really work with the high school coaches, just with the respect of it. But there's so much with the travel teams, these showcases we see them at, and we'll most times see a guy and then go to his high school coach after. But yeah, they're great high school baseball programs. Franklin produces great players, and so does Rockland. So yeah, they're both good.
You were able to get some pretty high-profile guys through the draft this last year.
Correct.
Our team,
Yeah.
Russell,
Yes.
and Smith Bailey. The odds of a player being drafted next year, how much does that factor into whether you recruit them? How hard you recruit?
Well, you're going to always recruit the best you can recruit. I mean, we'll take and you have to put and with the portal, which this will help you in now, because you'll know when we come July. It's going to be tough for this guy not to get picked in the because we work at if they're in the first couple rounds, they're probably going to sign. The money's going to be too much, so you'll know at that point. When the portal's open, you know what we better get somebody to replace him because he's probably going to sign. This class is filled with guys who have a chance to get drafted. This is a really strong class, and like I said, Coach Couch has done an unbelievable job through the years of building that. And there's guys on here who, when we get to that draft and we work with the agents and, find out what the guys' numbers are. And, we're hoping that they're going to hold out for a big number in the draft.
Aside from just their talent, what else stands out to you about this particular group?
Well, obviously it's pitching heavy. The infield group, with Triesenberg from the Chicago area, from Brother Rice High School, he's a superb athlete. So is he a shortstop? Is he a center fielder? Is he a third baseman? Is he a catcher? This guy can do anything. He's big and strong. And then Cash Brennan comes from a long line. His brother's a really good player at UCLA. He's a center fielder. His dad was a good player in college. Cash is a true stay at shortstop guy. And, you don't really find those guys a lot in high school. Like I said, they might be able to play second, third, outfield. This guy's a true shortstop. So other than that, these pitchers are tremendously. If you went to watch an Arizona Diamondbacks scout game, it was LaFlamme, Jacobs, Hickman for the first 3 innings. So those are they're going to pitch the best guys first. So that was impressive.
Right. There's two full catchers and maybe another possible catcher. Maybe you said even a fourth guy.
Well, yeah, Caleb. I listed Caleb Deseisen as a everywhere. This guy hits, and I've watched him catch in high school. I've watched him play the outfield in travel ball, and I've watched him play first base left-handed. So this is a very talented athlete.
Right.
So he's a right-handed thrower, but I've seen him play first base lefty. He just hits. So he's going to play somewhere. He's big and strong, and
you're anticipating turnover at that position after.
Oh, that's your point. Yeah. Hopefully for Tommy leaving, he's a senior, so hopefully he gets drafted and gets a chance. And then Adonis, if he does what he's supposed to do and what he's been doing this fall, there's a good chance he's going to be gone too. So yeah, and that'll leave us with Thompson and Brick. So Joe is obviously Jackson's brother. High-level catcher. We've had him those two committed for a long time, so he could come in and catch. And then Roman Myers was a big get. We just committed him a week ago from Golden West, and he is he went to Long Beach State to start. Now he's back at Golden West, and he's a guy that was wanted across the country. He can come in and catch at a high level right away.
So in this new era, does the pitch to these players, why they should come to Arizona, change at all, or?
No, I don't think so. I think we've always sort of stuck to what development. Degree, get your degree, get a chance to play Major League Baseball at some point, and become a better person. That's kind of my pitch the whole way. Obviously, money wise, NIL the way it's been, and we don't know how it's going to look in the future. There's a lot of rules they're talking about. Is the SEC, is some of these conferences going to be able to outbid us for players? Maybe. But then we probably didn't want him anyway.
Sure. Fall ball. Who are some of the standout players? What jumped out to you?
It was just impressive. I mean, I think John was telling me with the player development stuff that I think we didn't give up an earned run in outside competition. So that's pretty cool. Now, like we talk about, our pitchers never pitched, more than 2 or 3 innings at the most. But they were all super impressive. I think when you look at, we looked at the last 3 years, how many position players have played and how many pitchers have given us significant innings. And it's been like 13 or 14 pitchers every year. I mean, we got 16 guys that I'd be very comfortable with right now putting in a game. So what we really have to figure out in January and February is who can get stretched out and who's effective 4th, 5th, 6th inning, or do we just jumble it up and like they did in the World Series?
I was going to ask about that. Is there any thought to the concept of, since you don't like having batters see the same pitcher too many times, that you just have guys go 9 batters, one after the other?
Well, one of our favorite games last year was when we went up to Arizona State and beat them, and we had 9 pitchers throw 1 inning. We thought that was pretty cool. We in a really good hitters stadium against a really good hitting team, we shut them down. So, yeah, there is some thought to that. That's tough to do at this level. How many guys we can take on the road, and can guys come back and pitch twice in a weekend? It's a little different than pro ball.
The roster that you have now is 40?
We have 40 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we've made some moves.
And it's going to be 40 this upcoming season.
Yes.
In anticipation.
Yes.
34 the next year.
And then 34. So there's a competition with the young guys who aren't even going to be playing this year to show us that they're going to be able to. Because if this team does what we think it can do and guys play like they're supposed to play, then there should be a big turnover next year.
What did you think about the announcement yesterday about the World Baseball Classic?
I think it's great. We had a big dinner to talk to the World Baseball Classic people, the MLB people, 2 or 3 months ago, and felt pretty good about it. And I was just fired up when Blake had called me to say, "Hey, we got it." I listened to him on the news this morning talking about how when he was a kid, we had spring training, we had AAA. We had fall league. I played in that fall league when it was in Tucson. So it's sort of things that we miss and we need to get back. So hopefully we can continue to get some of these different, maybe get a minor league team back in here.
Are there any alums that may have a connection to any of those countries?
I'd have to look.
Yeah.
I
don't know how the lineage
Yeah.
works with all that.
No, it's pretty loose. You can get in there.
Yeah, because Wiley was on Great Britain a few years ago. So
Yeah.
Are there any lingering injuries from the fall? Anyone who might not be available when you kind of start up again?
No, I think the one guy that was hurt over the summer, Matisse Morant, the shortstop from Cochise, he had surgery back in Paris, and we thought he'd be out all fall it was a hip labrum that was done, and he's already taken ground balls and he's lifted all fall, and so I'm really excited to see him start hitting, switch hitter. He's a guy that can really fortify our infield, if somebody goes down, or who knows, let him have a chance to beat somebody out.
Is there any headway on discussions about trying to get a redshirt rule with playing any games and being able to retain the year?
Yeah, I think people are talking about that. It just doesn't seem fair that you play one game or pitch 1 inning and you lose a year. We've had some guys do that. And it's not good.
But there's nothing on the horizon.
I have not heard, but this, the great thing about what's happening in college sports now. I know there's a lot of people that are upset about the way things are going, but the one cool thing is they'll change things quick. When I was in school, it took 5-6 years to get something changed. So, the other question we all have is with 34, if it's first day of school and something bad happens, you lose 4 or 5 pitchers. Now that's not even enough guys to compete. Mm-hmm. So are we going to change the rule that we can bring kids in at the break?
If there's an injury or something.
Yeah.
Now, for you, since you came in to the college game just as these things were starting to change, has it maybe been easier for you than some of the quote-unquote old guard who spent 20-something years in the way it was and wishing it was still that way?
Maybe so. That's a good point. I've never thought of it that way. It's just ever-changing. Mm-hmm. And I think if you talk to guys during the summer or the area code games and you go and see a lot of these coaches, no one really knew or knows what's going on. That's why I feel so good about what has transpired here at the U of A. I think they've let us And I just thank Desiree and everybody over there because, I think there's a lot of people that have no idea, what their numbers are right now.
Acknowledging all the changes, which you have,
Mm-hmm.
but having done this now for about 3 years, what have you learned about recruiting in terms of what you're looking for, what you might
Right.
avoid, talent, character, all that stuff?
Yeah, I think the one thing in the smaller classes, or one of the things we learned is we've gone from, because we just didn't have anybody in the classes. We were throwing a big net out there, and it's not a bad deal not to have enough guys. With the JC season in the spring, and then the portal in the summer, we're okay. We're not panicked about that. I think that's one thing. We've had guys that we've really thought character-wise and baseball-wise are good players, but are they Pac-12 before this and Big 12 competitive? That we've had to probably tell, or they've said, hey, you know what, I need to go somewhere else to play. Where, we're not going to worry. With 34, we're going to have to be pretty right now.
We have time for one more.
What do you think of the World Series?
Oh, it was nice. Obviously, we had some U of A guys with Pat Rossler, one of the coaches, and Austin Wells. I was rooting hard for the Yankees. I'm obviously a West Coast guy. I played for the Dodgers at one point, but it was exciting. It was fun. It was kind of cool to see the two big organizations back in there. It reminded me of my days in the '70s.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chip.
Thank you.